Hello guys, David here, and welcome back to another video. This is the second installment in my FM20 how-to video guides. What this one's going to be all about is about using the in-game editor. I'm not going to do the pre-game one because that takes a hell of a lot of understanding, and this one can actually get you a hell of a lot of content for your buck. It is a chargeable module, it's not free unlike the pre-game editor is, but like you say, if you do want to make those little bits in your challenges or you say it's a little bit more interesting, add those little bits in here and there, then it's definitely worth a look. So what we'll do is we'll get into the screen, we'll change this over, and then we'll get stuck in and show you what it looks like. Alright then guys, so we're in Football Manager, we're in my Newell's save, one that you should be very familiar with by now if you know what's going on this channel. If you're not, then make sure you hit the link in the corner right now, because it will have the first episode so that you can start your journey with me on my attempt to win both the South American and European Continental Championships. That's the plan, in case you hadn't already figured that out. But yeah, in terms of the in-game editor, like I say, you go into Steam. What you do is, I can't show you Steam, it won't let me, I don't know why, so just quick disclaimer, but go into Steam and search for Football Manager 2020 in-game editor, or whichever Football Manager game you're playing if you're not playing 2020, obviously. Once you've gone into there, pay for it. It's $3.99, I think. Like I said, but in the intro, you do get a good bang for your buck, so I would probably suggest it if you do want to make those little tweaks as you're going through the save. It can make some good ideas in terms of experiments and things like that, which is always helpful. But go into there, download, buy it, download it, and it's done. It's in. Now, when you're setting up games, you can prevent the use of the in-game editor. It comes up on the screen when you select the leagues. It's one of those little tick boxes at the bottom. The only downside to that is if you do disable it in there, you cannot turn it back on during your save. What I do is I leave it on, and then to be honest, I just ignore it unless I need to use it, in which case I'll just click on it. Now, you can switch it on and off in a save. You can do that in your preferences. So you're going to click your little FM button, go to preferences, and then at the top here, under advanced, I believe this comes under the general one. You just want to click whether you want to show the in-game editor in the menu bar or not. Really, really quick and easy. Once you've made a change, obviously hit confirm, done. Really simple. Where that then appears is it's this little kind of pen. I think it's a pen, or is it a pencil? Maybe a pencil, I don't know. But it appears on every screen that you're able to edit upon. So on the home screen, you can see I'm basically just messing around with me. That's what I'm on. I'm on my home profile screen. So you can see I can move myself to another club. I can move to a national team. I can move to other areas if applicable. Some of them obviously I can't change because I'm not on the relevant screen to do so. I can edit my staff details. So I can go into here and I can go around. I can see that I've got all of my details within here, my attributes, my staff roles, things like that. You can change pretty much everything. It's quite good at that. Personal details, club contract details, nation contract details, other nationalities, and then these ones are just kind of like standard ones, to be honest with you. So allow squad registration anytime, allow squad numbers anytime. Obviously these are things that are set before the start of each season. I think squad registration is mainly going to be for your continental stuff where you can't change it as you work through it, but again, you're going to detract a bit from the realism if you do it that way. I'll just be completely honest. Become unsackable, I could probably do with that trait, and terminate contract. And if you're really struggling, there's an in-game editor manual as well. So you click on that, and it takes you onto a web page and opens it up for you, so you can have a look at it. But this changes depending on what screen you're on. So if I go on to my club info screen, for example, I can go into here, and when it loads, eventually, it's very slow. This is my PC more than anything. But when it eventually decides to load, you'll see I can still click the option in the top corner, but it will change slightly. So I might see different options. I'll see things about like the kits, for example. So it's a bit more unique or specific, to the club itself. So I go into here, I can edit my club details, kit details, allow licensed kits. So it's good for the ones if you're playing in like the lower league in the EFL. In England, you're going to have the licensed kits anyway, whereas on these ones I've actually had my own specialised kits made. the reason for that is in episode 21 of Going into Continental. Obviously, this video will be visible before, hopefully, and after that goes live, so I can't really go into too much detail on that. But yeah, you can obviously have a look on that video and you'll realise why I get those kits and where I get them from, which is always nice. And then, yeah, you can see the same once again. But things like edit club details, in here you're going to see the general stuff, so you get the colour, the reputation, minimum maximum attendances, things like that. Finances, always a good one to have, but again, you can mess around with these. Sugar Daddy, I can't remember which one this is. I think this is to do with like having a tycoon take over your club. Front end is they just shove money at the transfer budget. I think back end they just keep the bank balance ticking over. Underwriter, again, I think they just they get rid of all your debt and then expect return. Is I believe they get rid of your debt, but they expect they obviously expect something in return. So you have to do something for them. I'm assuming normally that's going to be something in terms of you need to get a certain level of reputation in the league, whatever it might be. There's all sorts of stuff to consider. Obviously, stadium details, you can change all of this. Really easy to do that. Stadium condition, that's just really poor, and so on and so forth as it goes up. Obviously, the higher the number, the better it is. Does it have a roof? Does it have undersoil heating? Do we want to have dodgy different ones? I never noticed you could do gravel, clay, sand, or anything like that in there before. Something I never knew. Obviously, extension capacity is good if you want to. If you do get a stadium built into your game, if you are one of those teams that you get really high up and you get a bigger stadium, really good way of ensuring that you might want it to be bigger, which is good. And then things like obviously facilities attributes there. These are all out of 20, as is the obviously the standard attributes for players. Obviously tactical stuff, how do we play with this side of things. Rival clubs, we can add all of them in. Favourite people, again you can see those. You can name the stadium after people, which is quite a fun one to have in there. Any disliked people, and then current affiliations is in there as well, and you can see obviously different ones and different bits that you can do within there. Going to quickly move away from that. On to players. So you have got the ability to do this with players as well. I'm going to pick on Steve because he's one of my name in the game players, and as you can see, he's doing very well at the moment. He's really going up in the world. But as you can see, again, this is where you can start to maybe mess around with these a little bit more. So you can actually you can remove injuries, bans, unhappiness, and things like that. Again, you're bored with the combat. What's the word? I can't think of what the word is, but the true nature of the game. I personally wouldn't do these, but again, you've got the option to do them if you want to. Move to other clubs, move them on loan, very useful and those sorts of things. And yeah, again, with editing, as you can see, it basically just opens up pretty much everything you want. So I can then say, right, I want him to have an ability of 20 on corners. I can make him taller, I can make him heavier, lighter. I can change the end date of his contract. I can change his physical condition. Basically anything you can see which now has that kind of weird looking like box around it, you can change. And the only one I don't know about is what this is. I think it's current ability. There you go. So I can say his current ability would now be 148. I'm obviously not going to muck around with these because I don't want to impact my save itself, but you can see where those options are and what you can kind of mess around with. To stop, obviously just click on here and just click stop editing and it goes back to how it was. I say you can edit contract details, personal details, attribute details. To change a nickname like I've done, you don't have to do that. You just go into overview and you just click, you'd have to say set nickname rather than this one because obviously you've already got them anyway, but they're quite easy to change those sorts of things as well. The other ones you can change, there is some level of doing this within obviously the competitions as well. I should have actually gone on to this one. As you can see, you can edit the competition details, just changing a few things around it. Again, whether you want to do that is up to you. Whether you want to, I suppose the main things you might want to do is things like Juventus in this save. They do actually have a false name. Now, in my one, they should be set as Juventus, as you can see, because I've actually downloaded a pre-game file to put them as Juventus. Normally, though, because there's no licensing and all that sort of stuff, as you can see by the kits, they should have licensed kits, though. That's weird. Maybe I deleted them. You can then see they become through as Zebra. So if you do want to change it, obviously, as you can see, I can edit my club details. I can go to general, not general. I can go to somewhere along here. I've completely forgotten where I'm going now. But yeah, I can go in and I can change all of these details if I want to as well. So it's quite good at doing all of those. Maybe I can't change it because I've allowed licensed kits. I don't know. I can't remember, to be completely honest with you. It's been a while since I properly had a look at this. But like I say, this is just to give you guys a bit of a flavour as to what you can do. What you then choose to do is completely beyond that. So, for example, like I say, you can move people from one place to another. Now, what this can't do, and I found this out the hard way because I set up a whole thing and then realised I couldn't do it, is you can't move teams from one place to another. So what I mean by that is you can't move Juventus to play in excuse me, you can't move Juventus to play in the Premier League. That has to be done in the pre-game editor, and that requires a slightly different way of working. Again, there'll be other videos kicking around. I'm not going to do one of them, as I mentioned, but there's going to be other videos kicking around that will show you guys how to do that, so it is always worth looking at. It's always good to do as well. But yeah, to be honest, guys, that's pretty much what it is there for. Like I say, pretty much anywhere where it comes up, you can mess around with them to a certain extent. So you can see I can go on to here. Most of them are fairly generic. You can see, obviously, although I'm on the finances screen, I've come up with the club details one because I'm in the club, as it were. Obviously, tactics. I think I have the options in here to mess around with tactical familiarity and that sort of thing. There you go. Change all morale to people, improve team cohesion, remove all bans, etc., etc. Whether you choose to do that, again, I transfer that enough. It's completely up to you. Whereas the integrity, that's the word I was looking for. The integrity of the game in my eyes. So I tend to stick to some of those. Like I say, I've done something with those kits in here to allow me to do that. Again, it's a little bit different. But yeah, with all of these, like I say, you can go in, you can change pretty much what you want to do, change all their morale. Why you'd want to do it to Abysmal, I don't know. But yeah, kind of get the idea. I might want to do mine if I really wanted to, but there you go. So you have it, guys. That's, yeah. Well, there you have it. I'm gonna get Foot Manager off the screen. So there you have it, guys. That is, I say, a really, really quick overview as to what you can do with the in-game editor. Like I said, it does cost money. Obviously, if there's certain things you want me to show you what it looks like when you actually do make those amendments, then feel free to let me know in the comments. Obviously, I'm more than happy to do that sort of thing. What I would always suggest is if you are going to do something that you do want to make some sort of content out of, so for example, like I've done with my one, on the change I've made, I've not made any financial benefits or anything like that. I've literally just done something and ticked a couple of boxes that won't really impact the save too much because I didn't want to do that. If you are doing it and you want to make sure it's not going to completely screw up the game, what I would suggest is make the change, save it separately, so put a different save file in, and then just holiday forward for a little bit of time. I know that that's what most of the guys do. I know that Lelujo did it on his content on his Apollon series, the Greek Odyssey. So if you do want to check that out, it's probably definitely worth having a look at that because he did some fancy bits with the youth recruitment, the youth facilities and stuff like that, but he did holiday forwards to test it. It is definitely worth doing that, especially if you are going to be doing some of those things that do impact certain areas. It's really important to do it properly because if you are going to make a series out of it, then make sure it's done correctly, right? But yeah, that's it from me, guys. If you have enjoyed this one, obviously, as always, make sure you hit the like button. That's going to be very much appreciated. I like to see what's the kind of the uptake is on these how-to videos. The last one I did on editing and uploading videos has already got a decent amount of likes compared to my normal videos, so massive appreciation to all of those of you who have already done that. Make sure you do it on this one as well, because if I do see them, I will do more. If you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed because, again, you get to see more of this stuff and the series that I'm currently doing and those that I'll be doing in the future. And yeah, if you want other options, you want me to do other videos, things like that, and little things that you may be struggling with that I can figure out and do a video about, then just let me know in the comments. That'd be much appreciated. But hopefully you enjoyed this one. If you have, like I say, do all that stuff that I've just mentioned. My name's been David, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers.